All right, and I think we're live.
Okie dokie.
All right. Do you want to give your example or would you like me to give mine first? And then I put a link on this in the chat to a
Yeah,
Google Doc.
yeah, I just clicked it. Said that
Oh,
I
okay.
had to request access again.
Oh, go. I don't know how I do that.
But yeah, my example's pretty easy. I actually wrote it as a quiz question first, and then I had to separate the two.
Oh, well, good
But
for you.
yeah, but it's Apple is in the process of electing 4 new members to the board of directors. Under the corporate charter, Apple uses cumulative voting when electing directors to the company. And the answer or the question is what percentage of votes would be needed for a director to be elected?
Okay. That sounds pretty, actually very similar to what mine is. So,
I kind of figured it'd be similar just because it's like there's not much to change, maybe just numbers, but
um, all right. So I sent you a new invite for that. I don't know how to change it so it's not private. Do you know?
well, the way I do it, and once I get it open, I can at least make sure I'm doing it the right way. The way I've always done it is I hit the share button, and then instead of like putting the names,
Mm-hmm.
do the get shareable link, and then just say anyone with the link can edit.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
I have only specific people can access off, so maybe have the specific people on.
Okay. All right, so my example, mine actually uses a little bit more of numbers. I said, so John owns 60 shares and Mary owns 40 shares of the same company. When it is time to vote for the 3 director positions available, John has a total of 180 votes, and I put 3 directors times 60 shares. And Mary has 120 votes, 3 directors times 40 shares. John votes straight and puts 60 votes towards each of the 3 directors already sitting on the board. And then I put Mary accumulates her votes and uses all 120 votes for a different director. By doing this, she can elect a director who represents her even though she is a minority shareholder. Sorry. And then I put, as a side note, Mary must have 25% of the company stock to elect her choice of directors. And then I just kind of put the calculation. She currently owns 40%. And then I just, wrote the 1 divided by the number of directors plus 1 equals 1/4 is 25%. So,
So let's see, then that would be 180, 20, 300. So yeah, that would work.
yeah, so there's 3 directors position plus 1 is 4. So 1/4 would be 25%. And there's, according to this, I'm just saying there was only 100 out there.
Yeah,
But
which,
anyways,
yeah, that makes sense.
so that was just a very simple one, just kind of explaining how she could accumulate her votes to put in somebody different.
Okay, so if we used yours, what question would we use?
Here, I don't know about you. I'm much more of a visual person, so I'll put it on this template and you can read it.
Okay.
And I mean, we can delete it if you want to use yours, but I have to see it visually. I'm just funny that way.
Well,
So,
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
my only slight concern is if we use yours, and we still
Uh-huh.
could, um, yours kind of takes any potential questions and answers them.
Uh-huh.
So you'd maybe want to move part of it into the actual
Into the
quiz question,
question.
not
Right.
explain all of it. That's why I kind of left mine
Hmm. I
sort of.
would say if we were going to make mine, I think I'd probably take this whole section about Mary
Mm-hmm.
and just put, how can Mary, represent herself on the board since she's a minority shareholder. Maybe. I don't know.
You could do that, but then you'd have to put in on the top that something under the line or cross lines of the corporate charter allows cumulative voting.
Hmm. Do you want to go ahead and put your question up and we'll use it?
That's fine. We can do that.
Okay, let me delete this one and go ahead and you can paste yours up there.
Because I kind of did a whole lot too when I did my sample and then question first.
Okay, so, but are you missing part of the question there?
No, this part's just the example. Then here's the question.
Well, yeah, but we don't know how many directors there are or how many shares there are, right? Or, well, I guess we don't have to know how many
My
shares,
question,
but,
you don't need that. You only need to know the number.
oh, the four. Oh, I was looking for an actual, sorry.
Yeah. For at
Okay,
least the
so
question of percentage of votes needed, you only need
the correct answer
that.
would be 20%, right?
Yep.
And then for the correct feedback, if you want to just put the calculation.
Yeah, that works.
Oops.
Yeah. There we go. And then wrong answer one can be 25. Because I'm sure there will be someone who might not realize
They have
number
to
of
add the one, yeah.
one. Oh.
Do you want to put, like, for the next wrong answer, do you want to put like 51%?
Yeah, I was thinking that would work because there might be some that think majority.
Just majority. Whoops. Do you want to put the correct calculation on all of them as feedback or just,
Um, And we could, or I don't know if you think just saying this isn't used. I don't know. Yeah, it probably would be easier just to use your calculation. Although for the wrong ones, I think the one part I might leave off is the 1/5.
Oh, yeah, just give them the actual.
Yeah, just give them the calculation because I don't know if you've noticed, but when we do the quiz,
Uh-huh.
um, for if you get it wrong and you need to know what it is the next time around, um, then you can look at the feedback. And I've noticed people try to make sure not to, well, some people do. They don't necessarily want to point out the right answer, but just enough to maybe help you understand.
Right. Okay, what could be our last wrong answer then?
100%.
Yep, sounds good.
I know it's going to spell unanimous wrong. One of those words you just are like, that's going to happen.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Example, not that I'm sure how you can explain that example further, unless you got any ideas.
Um, well, I guess maybe what we could do, I guess, what do you think if you kind of used like my example or mine as the explanation? Do you know what I mean? Where it kind of draws it out, where one person can actually make a difference. Does that make sense? Or is that too much, do you think?
I and it could work. It doesn't necessarily.
It doesn't
Maybe
pertain to your example.
well, maybe we could say an example of cumulative voting and how it works, and then put your example in there.
Because I just wonder if we need to kind of,
Maybe just put the definition of cumulative voting.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering.
Could do that.
And so I was wondering, that's kind of what I was thinking, like with my example, although it puts numbers with it, it kind of explains what cumulative voting is a little bit more. But we can just say cumulative voting is being able to pool all of your votes and put them towards one director or something like that.
Let's see. Let's see. So maybe let's sort of put part.
I was looking it up, and no other group talks about straight voting. So do we want to point out the difference? You know, like we could say, so if somebody has 10 shares, they can vote, you know, 10 votes for each of the 4 candidates. Or if they have, but for cumulative, they could put all 40 votes towards one.
Yeah, we could do that. So say, like, for example,
And then if you wanted to, you could put in parentheses 20 shares times 3 directors, just so they understand where that came from.
like another example within an example.
I wonder if we should. Oh, that is our example of an example, too.
Yeah. But I mean, it explains cumulative voting. It just doesn't explain the quiz question, but it doesn't
That's true.
explain the quiz question, just sort of expound on the example.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm good with it, but always
Okay.
a pair of eyes helps.
All right, I think that's good then. What do you think?
I like it. Simple enough.
Okay. I'll go ahead and put this in. Let me save it to a doc, and then when we get the recording the link, I'll add it to it.
You don't have to copy it. You can just save it as a Word file directly in Docs. Just go to File and Download As.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. Kind of figured that was the case when you're highlighting it.
Oh, yeah. Didn't know that. See, you learning new things all the time.
Yep. Just don't forget to get the recording link.
Right. In fact, you know what? I'll go ahead and stop the recording because we're done with this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop the recording and then get the link.